Oi! What are you doing?
Having lunch. With two of the most boring men on the planet, innit?
You know what I mean. Well, Lisa's waiting for you at the bistro.
So let her wait, if I'm that important to her.
Well, have you at least let her know that you've been held up?
Will you get off my back? You know, I've learned the hard way. Work comes first. You know, because Knickers can't let you down like people.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
Hello and welcome to episode 392 of The Talk of the Street, an unofficial Coronation Street catch-up podcast whose mind is full of treachery and backstabbing and lies and outstanding television. But the trailers is finished, so we might as well talk about Corrie. I'm Gavin.
And I'm Sub-Zero.
You know that Sub-Zero means something different here than it does in the UK. Sub-Zero means it's kind of cold. Like -1 or -2 in the UK in Celsius is... Yeah, it's chilly. There's probably a frost.
Yeah.
-1 and -2 here is like things start to die if you leave them outside.
Right, yes. The trees start to crack.
Have you heard about the ice quake?
Yeah.
We're supposed to be getting ice quakes.
Yeah.
That all the water that's in the ground freezes.
And then it moves.
That doesn't sound great. It's it was 1 whole degree when I left the house this morning.
Uh-huh.
And by the time I came back, which was about 25 minutes later.
Right, yeah,
because
when
I
you're
thought,
like, fuck this shit.
Fuck this. It was -1 degree. And I think it's -4 at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. There are these two English guys, Josh and Jace, who are Instagram famous,
Oh.
who have been in our state, like making these short videos about astounding things about Michigan. One of them, I think it's Jace, has kind of been obsessed with like the Great Lakes and stuff. Like even when he was still in England, he was making videos about Lake Superior never giving up its dead, and you know, Americans are crazy for their cold weather and stuff. Mm-hmm. But like, they're here now. And it's funny because
They live here now?
No, they're visiting here now.
Why?
And they're up in the UP right now, and they did that thing where you throw hot water in the air and it turns into snow. Mm-hmm. And they're shocked. And they cross the Mackinac Bridge, and of course they mispronounced it, and they're shocked.
Mackinac?
Yeah.
That does look like Mackinac.
And they're shocked by the size of the lake sturgeon, which they mispronounce as well, like Sturgeon or something.
Oh, there's no excuse for that. Sturgeon.
Right. And they ate Fruit Loops for the first time because I guess Fruit Loops are illegal in the UK. But it's just funny watching them be like so shocked with the cold and the freezing and the weather and all the American stuff. And I look at you and Steve, who've lived here for over a decade now, being British. Of course, you're Scottish, so you're slightly more used to cold weather, I guess, than
like
English
this.
people.
Not like this.
Well, no. Still, it's just really funny watching these British people come here and just being just astounded by things that we're just kind of like, yeah, that happens.
The guy that I was watching on YouTube this week, Lost in the Pond, this guy Lawrence, I think his name is.
Uh-huh.
He's been here for a little bit longer than us, or me. He moved to Indiana, then Iowa, and then Ohio. Uh-huh. So he's been kind of all in the Midwest.
Right.
And it is now outside Chicago. And he was going on about, I think it was like 6 things that you don't know about the Midwest until you move there, or
Right.
something like that. And particularly for Chicago, there's something that's called dibs, I think it is. And dibs is when it's snowing You put a chair out.
Oh, okay, yeah, like dibs for a parking spot, yeah.
You put a chair out
Yeah,
to stop someone else getting your parking spot.
Yeah.
That may or may not be outside your house.
right,
It could be outside somebody else's house.
right.
Which to me sounds like free chair. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm cold.
Yeah, it's cold.
I'm cold, but I'm kind of cozy, and I'm covered in burrito sauce because we had Mexican for dinner tonight, and
And you just throw it at yourself, apparently.
burrito tacos are very juicy. Yeah, it's nice to be able to work from home, you know, one of the 5 days that I work. But it's also I'm realizing I'm falling back into old habits from the last time I worked mostly from home, in which you don't really have to get dressed unless you're going somewhere later. You could put off taking a shower for a while.
Yeah, I'm supposed to wear clothes that I would be wearing in the office
Right.
when I'm working from home.
Yeah.
For all the video chats and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is a piece of nonsense, but never mind.
I don't have to video chat, even though like my closest coworker works and lives in the Philippines. But
Shall we preamble, my dear?
yes, please.
Give us some of that chilly Corrie news.
Get those pitchforks ready, y'all.
Oh,
In February, there's no Corrie on the 3rd or the 5th, both due to sport.
we'll only get an hour and a half of it then
That week, yes.
next week. Or the
Not
week
next
after
week. It's the week after. Yeah.
Wow, because of sports ball.
Yes, because of sports ball, where they move a ball about. And
I know how sports
Stuff.
ball works. I'm a man.
Simon Gregson is back in financial woes, possibly having to sell his home to
Oh,
pay
no.
back a £250,000 loan. So you know, fingers crossed and good luck to him. Our fat Dracula. We are
How
standing.
does he get into this sort of bother?
I don't know. I didn't ask.
We probably shouldn't be asking these questions. None of our business.
No, none of our
Yet
business.
here we are talking about it.
I know. And finally,
Kind of invasive Corrie news.
yeah, well, other people reporting this were invasive first. And he's also talked about it on Instagram, which is why I said Fat Dracula, because
Okay.
that's his handle on Instagram. And finally, huge, massive congrats to the lovely and talented Tanisha Gorey and her partner, Lucas Wellen, on their engagement. They got
saw that.
engaged this week, and it is adorable.
It is.
They're so cute together. Love it. I think they actually got engaged over Christmas, but they announced it this past week.
Yeah, lovely news. Congratulations indeed.
Yes, to Tanisha and Lucas.
Yeah.
And that's Corrie News.
Are those wedding bells then that I can hear from the Corrie news? Like an audible beacon, they lead us to the feedback section that I like to call Everyone's a Critic. Well, Shema writes, hello.
Hello.
Just had to pop in to say that the word balls was definitely used when Kev was going through his testicular cancer storyline at the start.
Was it? Mm-hmm. Did
He
they
said-
say balls?
He said, in me balls. In my head, Kev was in the Rovers when he made reference to his balls using that specific word. This does raise a question of why this was in my head. I guess it was because it was so unusual. Who knew that this was something that would be important enough to make me put virtual pen to paper? Well, we don't question these choices, well, Shema, we just accept them.
They said testicles a few times too, though, right? Because we would think that testicles would be more acceptable on television, being the technical term.
Testicles
As
sounds
opposed to-
funny in a Manchester accent, though. Especially coming from Kev. Me balls works a bit better.
Did they say? They must have said testicular cancer at some point.
I think the doctor probably did. Anyway,
Right.
I don't want to get caught up in this
Balls situation? You don't want to be ball deep in the balls conversation?
this quagmire of testicles. Let's move on to Glenn, who says Theo murdered Billy, everyone else manslaughtered Billy. Quite agree.
Technically, yes.
And we're just going to ignore that Will has smiled in both of the last two episodes. They never should have had Lisa sleep with Becky. Kissing was one thing, but this is a bridge too far and makes Carla look rather pathetic. And presumably no one else knows because having Roy, Betsy and Ryan pushing Carla to forgive and forget is too much. I really wish the little Driscoll girl would leave and never return.
Oh, boo! She plays trombone.
Loving the 22-minute daily episodes, though. Yeah, me too.
Yes.
Yeah, I think to me Susie Driscoll is probably amongst my favourite Driscolls.
Yeah.
And I'm really liking Ollie at the moment because
Isn't it funny?
He's gone from being the creepiest prick
And boring.
to, well, he's still kind of boring, but he's just normal now.
Yeah.
I kind of like him just being the normal one.
Is it the haircut?
Yeah, and his little asides to his gran are quite funny as well.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a kind of Ryan vibe, doesn't
got
he?
that Ryan vibe.
He's got the Ryan vibe.
Yep. But I do like little Susie. WJL Maroon then writes, I completely agree that the handling of Billy's death has been poor, and in hindsight kind of ruins Corriedale, bracket S, close bracket, for me. I think the show wants us to be angry at Carl and Theo, but I'm just confused, annoyed at the writers, and all the idiots who clambered out of the bus without thinking, oh, is the driver going to be okay? Is the driver out of the bus? And yes, Carl...
Especially since they know the driver's name.
Yes, a.k.a. Billy.
Yes.
And yes, Carl is awful, but he also isn't responsible for the crashes. That was John and Becky.
Yes.
Soaps have a need to drag everything out, so they couldn't have it end with those two taking the blame. Instead, we've got this BS. Well, fair points.
That's bullshit.
Indeed. Then Tina says, there are a few actors from Emmerdale in this photograph, and she sends this photograph, and they're all holding Dale's signs. Notice, says Tina, they're all using the nickname Dales, like the nickname Corrie, which aligns to your reasoning for Corriedales. I don't know. I have a lot of time on my hands today. Well, thank you very much, Tina. I'm glad you used them for that confirmation.
Correct.
That's one more of us and one less of them. And Cheeky writes, I'll be blunt, after the week's Coronation Street, the show is hanging on by a thread for me, because whether Corrie is thriving or just sleepwalking straight into irrelevance is entirely down to episodes like these, and this week got dangerously close to losing me. The Megan and Will storyline is actively damaging, poorly thought out, and frankly embarrassing to sit through. If this is meant to be Corrie at its best, then the bar has sunk through the cellar floor.
Ooh.
In contrast, Jodie's manipulation of her family is utterly diabolical in a way that does work.
Yes.
Calculated, parasitic, and genuinely chilling, with every lie and stolen trauma making my skin crawl.
Uh-huh.
And if the show is determined to give us a villain, at least this one feels intentional and frighteningly real. The only reason I didn't give up entirely this week, though, was Carla and Lisa, whose reunion was a rare reminder of what Corrie can still do when it remembers how to write people instead of plot devices.
Well,
Lisa's drunken antics brought humour, warmth, and genuine affection. Turning what could have been thrown away comedy into something funny, tender, and actually earned. Thank you ever so much to Cheeky, to Tina, to WJL Maroon, to Glenn, and to Welsh Emma. Thank you ever so much for your correspondence this week. We always appreciate it. And feedback, just generally speaking, Helen, feedback's always welcome. Send us your thoughts and I'll probably read them out. Get us at thetalkofthestreet@gmail.com, or our DMs are open at Corrie Podcast. Oh, we love it when people write actual letters to us. Send us your proper mail to the Talk of the Street, P.O. Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan, 48827.
please send treats. We're very cold.
Please note that we reserve the right to edit feedback, but only in the interest of brevity. Yes, send heat. And now we'll podcast for coffee.
Another one?
Friend of the podcast.
At ease, Helen. We have a new friend of the podcast
Woohoo!
for the third week on the bounce.
I know. I'm loving it.
Me too.
People's New Year's resolutions must have been give Helen and Gav money.
I think maybe there have been a few more listeners thanks to the Corriedales stuff.
Oh, yes.
Maybe that's what's enticing people. But anyway,
Maybe.
we welcome aboard Una Sharma. I love the name Una.
It's a nice name.
It's a lovely name. Welcome aboard, Una.
The first.
You are very welcome as our new friend of the podcast, and we hope you enjoy the bonus content that this affords you.
Absolutely.
Feel free to join in the Discord server if that's something that you're interested in.
Another
Friend
one?
of the podcast.
Another friend of the podcast.
Woot woot!
My goodness.
People just love us.
This is so much better than real life.
It is.
Well-
I mean, it's technically real life.
Welcome aboard, Amy. Amy
Hello,
is
Amy.
our new friend of the podcast. Amy writes, "You've kept me entertained through night shifts and a hideous pregnancy. I needed to up the ante for maternity leave. Give me all of that lovely extra content, and thanks for the laughs." Well, thank you, Amy.
You are very welcome, and thank you.
It is things like that. Night shifts and hideous pregnancies. That's what we're here for. And also bike rides.
Yes.
And drives to and from in-laws.
And to nuclear testing sites?
Uranium mines.
Ah.
It's the same
Close.
thing.
Close.
It glows green. That's all we know. Yeah, we're here for all those things.
Yes, we are.
And more. But
And also for those people who are just sitting quietly at home folding their laundry.
yes. But thank you ever so much, Amy, and thank you to Una Sharma as well. A brace of friends of the podcast
Woohoo!
this week.
Thank you so much.
The Talk of the Street is and will always be free on your podcast provider and on the YouTubes. But if you think a show is worth anything more than the time it takes to listen to it, if you want to show your appreciation or if you want more weekly and monthly content, here's your options. Sign up to be a friend of the podcast for as little as $2 a month. Sign up at patreon.com/The Talk of the Street, ko-fi.com/The Talk of the Street, or hit the join button on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Talk of the Street podcast. Friends of the podcast get access to our weekly spoiler show, The Talk of the Street Spoiler Alert, and a monthly classic Corrie show, The Talk of the Street Classics, that we'll be recording later this weekend.
Woohoo!
And if that wasn't enough, you also get access to our Discord server and a shout out at the end of every podcast and your name on the credits of the flagship show. If you prefer something a little less formal, you can also buy us next week's coffee by going to ko-fi.com/The Talk of the Street, and all our links can be found at linktree/Corrie Podcast. Remember, you can always support the podcast for free. Get us in front of new listeners by liking, subscribing, rating, and reviewing wherever you get your podcasts. All right.
Yes. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's do
dive
this thing.
in. Let's dive in, my dear,
Yes, please.
for the 392th time.
Wow, we're almost coming to number 400.
I know.
We're going to have to
Couple of months.
do something special for the 400th episode.
We got drunk for the 100th,
And then we hadn't celebrated since because we don't drink anymore.
but we did some day drinking for 100. I don't remember much about that podcast. Anyway,
But it was on champagne, so it was classy.
yeah, champagne and orange juice, wasn't it?
Were we drinking? Yes, we were drinking mimosas. So it was also healthy. We were getting our vitamin C.
Lots and lots of lovely,
Vitamin C.
intoxicating vitamin C.
Yes.
Our first storyline, the sister from the same mister. On Monday, Shona looks like death warmed up this morning, so between David and Jodie, they convince her to stay at home and let David go to the hospital, especially if she's feeling sick. So not to be given anything to that wee babby.
No, no, no.
This allows Jodie and Shona to chat about their childhood, and it's clear that Jodie still carries quite a lot of resentment that Shona abandoned her. Shona tells her that she already had one kid that she couldn't cope with, and those words do not go down well. Seemingly, their dad was a bit of a control freak. Shona explains that she came back, but Jodie had already moved out. And
Yes.
Jodie mentions a letter that gave her her new address, but Shona got no such letter. No matter, Shona didn't try to find her and was well rid, according to Jodie, and didn't fucking care about her. She's so furious that she breaks David's special Hairdresser of the Year mug in the sink and she cuts her hand. As Shona tends to the injury, Jodie says that her dad used to camp outside her bedroom to make sure that she wasn't sneaking out. Yikes.
That's creepy.
And Jodie gives it big licks that she would cry herself to sleep and look out her window for Shona coming back. But occasionally she'd see Clayton just running through a graveyard.
Zig, 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 zig. And the Benny Hill theme song playing and faintly in the background.
Yeah. But then she gave up. But she forgives Shona, she says. David comes back with good news from the hospital, but then is shocked to see his poor mug fucked in the sink. That was his special mug. It was his Hairdresser of the Year mug. You
And
bought
then-
it yourself,
Then
says Shona.
Shona says, "You bought it yourself. Shut up."
Look, Santa gave me it.
That was funny.
Shona explains.
No, it was Santa.
Shona explains to David how fucked up Jodie is and how it's all her fault, and she plans to make it right. And Jodie is on the stairway of discovery and hears all this.
Yes, she does.
Were you buying any of this?
I mean, this is the part that I do kind of buy.
the home life sort of thing.
Yeah. The stuff that comes later and the kind of boyfriend thing that she talked about last week, those I don't really hugely buy. But this does kind of feel like, I think she's laying it a little thick on blaming Shona.
Mm-hmm.
Shona herself didn't have the greatest of relationships with her parents, so...
No, hence why she left.
Right.
I think maybe she blames that for why she was pregnant at 13 as well, just her home life, and
Yeah.
something's not working.
Right.
No, there are other things that she says that are demonstrably untrue, but we'll get to them later. On Tuesday, David and Shona are off to the hospital, but Shona had promised to help Lily with her art homework. Shona forgot, so Jodie jumps in to save the day. With the house to themselves...
What sort of help does she need with her art homework?
Yeah, it's a self-portrait as well.
Right.
In the world of art, this is defined as a one-man show or a one-woman show. Lily selfishly tells Jodie how she feels like all David and Shona think about these days is Harper, who's like 2 weeks old.
Yeah, and has a giant tumor covering her entire neck.
And is mechanical.
Right. And maybe just like a hint of CGI. There's just the teeniest, tiniest little green screen behind her for the tumor.
At least Lily recognises how she's been selfish. And, you know, I still have to ask myself, who the fuck is that wee lassie? I don't think she's Lily yet.
No.
Remember how Harry wasn't Harry yet?
And Harry's still not
never
Harry.
was?
Have they introduced the third Harry yet?
Yes.
Because I don't remember what the third Harry looks like.
Not a clue. It was so long ago.
They need to have these kids in the show, even if it's just in the background, more than they do. Because it's like, you forget what they look like.
This was the Lily that locked
Sam
out of the classroom.
Yes. When Sam was a foot shorter than he is now.
God, that was in the summer last year.
Yes.
So she's been in the show for like 6 or 7 months.
Yes.
We still don't
You still have a problem with it.
quite recognise who it is immediately.
See, I recognize her, but I still miss the original Lily, and I feel bad about that.
Especially when they talk about soccer.
Right, yeah.
I'm like, you don't like soccer. It's the other Lily that likes soccer.
Right, yeah. But, you know, it's even kind of a problem with characters we know and love because we haven't seen Sam in a few months, and now we get Sam back, and it's like, holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like Hagrid took him away to to Hogwarts because he's got
You're
a wee
a
bit
wizard, Sam.
Yeah, look, got a wee bit of a Harry Potter going on there.
Yes. He could play in a movie as Daniel Radcliffe's younger self.
It's good criticising children, isn't it?
It's not a criticism of Sam.
Oh.
Well, I mean, do you think Daniel Radcliffe is ugly?
No.
I think Sam may be taller than Daniel Radcliffe.
Already?
Daniel Radcliffe is not a tall man.
We're picking on Daniel Radcliffe now? Who's next on our hit list?
I think Daniel Radcliffe can take it, but he is short.
Shirley Temple's a bitch, isn't she?
She's dead, Gav. She's dead.
Dead wee lassies. Oh my God.
No, I just that movie that Daniel Radcliffe did with Adam Driver a few years ago. I guess it's now on Amazon Prime, so they've been advertising it a lot. And just when you, granted, Adam Driver is not a short man, but when you see the two of them standing next to each other, it's like Shaquille O'Neal and Dolly Parton.
R2-D2 and Chewbacca.
Yes, that's another good analogy.
Thank you. Well, thankfully, Sam
Because
looks
at least
like...
we've seen...
Thankfully, Sam looks like neither of them.
So, because at least we've seen C-3PO and R2-D2 standing next to one another. I don't think we've ever seen Shaquille O'Neal standing next to Dolly Parton.
Make it happen, Dolly. The time is short. But this is the problem with not having, like you said, we're not seeing them regularly.
Right, yeah. These kids need to be in the show.
If you see them regularly, then you see Sam grown up, and then when you see him tonight, you're not
like,
surprised
holy
by
crap,
it.
what happened to Jude Reardon?
He got older. Comes to us all.
He did, which is why he got new headshots. And then people freaked out saying, oh no, he's going to leave the show. No, he's here.
Anyway, but we're talking about selfish Lily.
Yes.
Yes, because everything is about Harper, according to Lily. And Jodie sympathises and tells Lily that it's sadly natural. Shona is only Lily's stepmother after all, so she's bound to care more about Harper, her real child.
Well, see, that kind of falls apart when you think about her other actual biological child. Because Shona wasn't exactly a great parent to Clayton.
No.
Biology has nothing to do with it.
Right. When they get home, Shona checks to make sure that she and Jodie are okay, promising to make up for the past. On Wednesday, Shona wakes Jodie up from a nightmare, even though it's daylight outside, and then invites her for breakfast at Roy's, even though it's daylight outside, to cheer her up from her mid-morning terrors. In Nina's roles, though, Jodie is ahead of Shona and bumps into Kit, who's surprised to see her as she did a runner from the hospital. Jodie insists that she's fine and safe and asks that he drop it, as she doesn't want people finding out, so Kit plays along when Shona comes in and introduces them, wary that they may already be making plans for getting their hole with each other. Back home, Shona quizzes Jodie on whether...
Sarah.
Back home, Shona quizzes Jodie on whether she knows Kit, but she responds pretty badly to this and tells Shona to suck on her balls. She doesn't appreciate the third degree, for fuck's sake. After the song and dance yesterday, Shona's got a fairly pedestrian approach to going to the hospital today and goes off for a bath instead.
People like to bathe on the show. Lot.
Long baths.
And they draw baths for one another, which still seems weird to me. Why would you draw a bath for somebody else?
It saves them having to do it.
Oh, thank you so much for plugging the tub and turning the faucet on for me. What a lovely thing for you to do for me.
Pray for me, listeners. I thought this was an interesting little dynamic between Shona and Kit and Jodie, because Jodie and Kit did have a sort of suspicious reaction to each other.
Right, yes.
For other reasons.
Yes.
But as Shona is essentially accusing Jodie of maybe having a thing with Kit or something that she's hiding.
Right.
She also had a thing with Kit. Let's not forget.
Yes, but I think that's why that was Shona's reaction, because she has slept with Kit.
So she assumes everyone is.
Yes.
Well,
you know,
she makes a good point.
Kit and Sarah, R2-D2 and C-3PO. I looked. There are no pictures of Shaquille O'Neal and Dolly Parton together on the internet, although I'm sure there will be after this episode.
Sarah and Kit are definitely more R2-D2 and Chewbacca.
Yes. You said Chewbacca to begin with, didn't you?
I did.
I just made it C-3PO because I'm weird.
On Thursday, Shona approaches Jodie ahead of leaving for work and begs her that if she doesn't speak to her about everything that's going on in her life, she needs to speak to someone about what's happening, and explains that group sessions really helped David when he was horribly traumatised a few years ago, but she doesn't go into the details.
Right.
She heads to Nina's Rolls for her wages and runs into Kit and wastes no time quizzing him about Jodie and how they obviously seem to know each other. Kit eventually tells Shona what she wants to know, which isn't much, that Jodie was running away from someone or something when he found her, but she was tied up. Shona chases Kit onto the street, demanding that he investigates, but there's nothing that he can do if Jodie doesn't make a complaint, and this bit of the interaction is seen by Jodie, who hides, and then she immediately finds herself a group therapy session for women who are locked in vans during corridors. There, a woman named Ellie begins to tell her story. Later. Shona's at the hospital telling David what she found out when she gets a call from Bethany saying that Jodie's lost her key and is freaking out. So Shona comes back from the hospital to the street, and Jodie is calm by this point and explains how Shona was right and it was good to talk. And she starts to give Shona her backstory about living with an abusive man, about keeping a packed bag ready in the linen closet, about how he found the bag, about being pregnant and then being knocked out and waking up outside with all her stuff from her packed bag thrown around her in the yard, and she lost the baby. But as she's telling this story, we cut back and forth to the group therapy session, and this is actually Ellie's story that she's telling.
Yes.
Shona is thankful that Jodie trusts her with the truth now.
That is diabolical.
It is diabolical. I think I'm speaking for both of us here that we don't really appreciate the fancy bells and whistles. There was a moment in the week where there was a musical outro to the show before the main theme started that was just bizarre.
Was there one this week?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that.
You know, when Kev was sitting looking at the photo and the Driscolls were all sitting around the table happy.
Oh, yes.
There
Now
was-
I remember that. That was weird.
It was weird.
No wonder I blocked it from my mind.
But here, where we had it fading in and out between the therapy
I
session,
did like that.
I thought it was superb.
I thought it worked really well.
And they did it so that the dialogue merges over each other and they're saying the same things.
Right.
I thought it was brilliant. Now, they could have told that story differently, where Jodie's in this session and she's just listening to Ellie telling her story, and then we go back and Jodie tells the exact same story. Maybe we could have heard the same story twice. And I think in a 44-minute episode, we might have heard the same story twice.
Yeah.
But they've not got time for that. So
Yeah.
we just hear the story once, but from both perspectives.
Right. And I mean, the one drawback is that realistically, it wouldn't be word perfect. And it's more or less word perfect here.
There's only a few bits that match exactly. And I think they're the sort of phrases that would maybe stick in your head if you listen
Right.
to that story. So
And I
didn't
thought it
mind-
was,
mind
yeah,
that.
even with that, I found it very effective.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
But, oh my God.
How tricksy is that?
Yeah, and did you call it horrendous?
I said diabolical.
Diabolical. It is diabolical.
Yes, it's of the devil.
But is she telling this just to get Shona off her back? Or is this really the sort of made-up backstory?
I think she just doesn't want to tell Shona the truth. So there must be something about the truth that would have specifically upset Shona and have her throw Jodie out. I think.
I've been watching Emmerdale this week.
Uh-huh.
In fact, I've watched Emmerdale since the episode before Corriedale's. So I've watched a couple of weeks of it to see if there was any clues to the Jodie thing.
Right.
And this week on Emmerdale, they've been replaying the same day over and over again, leading up to the death of the drug dealer that was in one of the vans.
Uh-huh.
And the introduction of Graham again from the dead.
Right.
Which was really, really well done.
Uh-huh.
And we see Jodie, I think we see her feet.
Uh-huh.
And Graham says, "Come on then, Jodie." But it doesn't give us any more detail than that, which is a shame. 'Cause
Yes.
I think that's me watching Emmerdale again.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, yeah. Yeah, so you are exactly the kind of person that they were hoping for in
Yeah.
the Corriedale episode.
I feel a bit of a sucker.
Well, you did marry me.
Yes. And on Friday, in Nina's roles, Nina is swamped and needs to get to the cash and carry, so Jodie offers to help out. And with no further questions asked, Nina agrees to let her.
Weird, right? It's weird. Because she didn't even know her.
No. No. I mean, Shona was there at the time as I
Right.
guess a vouch, but yeah.
You're going to trust the till to this person you've never met before.
Mm-hmm. And maybe all the strings of cafes that she claims to have worked in the past all burnt down for all you know.
Yes.
Shona's worried that this is too soon for her, but Jodie insists that she'll be fine. At the hospital, Shona tells David that she really needs to get to the bottom of whatever happened to Jodie and reckons that she needs to track down her dad to get some answers.
Yes.
David doesn't think this is a wise move, and they don't even know where her dad is, so they can't exactly ask Jodie.
No.
But Shona is determined and makes David promise that he won't spill about this investigation to her sister. And that's as far as we get with that this week.
So this is exciting. We're going to get to meet Shona's dad.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of Shona family now.
Yeah, I think
Filling it out.
I think the storyline in general has been delivering actually pretty well.
I've enjoyed it.
I thought if we've got a baby potentially with cancer, we're going to have an awful lot of hospital scenes. We have people at the hospital, but they're at the hospital mostly talking about things that they could be talking about in the calf. So they're not really,
Right, yeah.
not really proper hospital scenes, and I don't feel like we've been there more than normal. In fact, probably less than normal.
Right, yeah. Well, sure that robot baby rental is
Right.
burning a hole in their pockets.
We've got her for the hour.
Right. I mean, remember when the quads were born and then we never saw the quads again until they were walking?
Yeah, you'd see one, you'd hear them.
Yeah. Or you'd pretend to hear them. Like they'd be shouting up the stairway or, oh no, I got to check the babies. Or there'd be like a recording of baby crying.
Yeah, and that was 7 years ago?
They can't possibly be 7 now. But then again, it was pre-pandemic when those babies were born, wasn't it? When they were in Wales?
Yeah, they'll be 7 in October.
What? They don't look 7. Then again, we rarely see them.
Yeah. The last time we saw them was for their 6th birthday party.
No, they just had a birthday.
Yeah, in October.
Oh, so next October they'll be 7.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then again, we barely saw them at their own birthday party, and they didn't have any friends over for their birthday party.
They don't need friends. There's 4 of them.
They need somebody other than the other 3. You need somebody out of that house to
Hey,
talk
I'm not
to.
complaining that we're not getting lots of quad action. That's absolutely fine. But yeah, to see them in the background every now and again, just to confirm that they're still there. No, this has been a really good story. I'm really intrigued by the Jodie character. I think I was intrigued right from the start. Our introduction was unusual.
Yeah, it was done really well.
Characters aren't normally introduced to the show tied up in the back of a van.
Right, yes.
That's how some of them go out of it, but not coming into it.
Right. It also just kind of feels feasible. Not the van part or anything, but just being at a hospital and having a estranged family and just kind of running into a estranged family in a hospital.
Yeah, because that genuinely was...
And they genuinely look like they could be related.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's a...
Even without the tattoo.
It's a worse tattoo.
It's a nice tattoo. I like it. It's a tree.
It's so obviously not a tattoo, though. I think just generally...
I don't care that
fiction, TV and movies aren't great at getting a tattoo
at
to look
pretend
like
tattoos.
a tattoo.
Yeah. Unless they are actual tattoos. And even then, I'm going to say those are awful fake tattoos, like I did to poor Harris Dickinson in the movie Baby Girl. I said, why did they give him these awful tattoos? And then you find out they're actually his real tattoos.
Yeah, he walked into a tattoo parlor and says, "Can I have some tattoos, please?"
Yes. Just like, what's his name? That singer that Sully hates. Adam.
Ant?
No, she loves Adam Ant. Who doesn't love Adam Ant? The guy from the guy who was on The Voice, who also has that band.
I don't know.
Okay.
I liked how they also get away with Shona being super perceptive about these little looks that Jodie and Kit shared, because they really were micro expressions, more or less.
Yeah.
Right, Shona, since she got shot in the stomach, really picks up on these sort of things.
She does. Kit especially does seem genuinely shocked.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, holy heck, what are you doing here? I expected her to be a little more shocked than she was. I expected her to be, quite nervous.
Yeah, right now, because she doesn't know that he lives there.
Right. She also doesn't know he's a cop.
Well, she does, because he introduced himself as a cop in the,
Oh, that's right.
in the forest,
he said,
but maybe
no,
she didn't
no.
believe him.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm a cop, which is not as reassuring as you'd think it would be.
Yeah. It's like, it's okay, I've got a gun.
No, thank you.
No.
I mean, it could be worse.
Yeah. Could be here.
He could be an ICE agent.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Our next storyline is this thing on?
That's a movie we went to see.
It is, and that's why it's there. On Monday, Carla does a Grandpa Simpson at the burlesque at Nina's Rolls when she sees Swain sitting with Betsy. But Swain forces an awkward conversation, explains that Weatherfield is Carla's home, so she and Betsy will be looking to move on. And then she thinks, where is that fucking cat? Carla agrees, and everyone is sad about this. Betsy goes to see Carla at the factory and tells her that everyone is unhappy with the arrangement, and she thought that they were a family. Will you change your tune, Betsy?
Seriously.
What happened to love conquers all, she says. And Carla says, that is a lie.
Yep.
Love boots you in the nuts and then spits on your back.
Yep. And calls you a whore.
Betsy goes off with her tail between her legs. On Tuesday, Roy is on his Nokia 3310 texting a letter to this Alice character when he thinks better of it. He is texting, "Dear Alice," like it is a letter, which is totally something that Roy
It's
would do.
adorable.
Swain and Betsy come in. He explains to them that it's the anniversary of Haley's death, and that shuts the pair of them up. Privately, Betsy tells Roy that Swain really misses Carla and asks him to speak to her. He agrees but doesn't think it's going to do much good. But he's good to his word and talks to Carla about life being short and making the most of the time that we've got, and that Haley would want her to be happy. Carla tells Roy that Haley would want him to be happy too, and then she nips off for a shite. Roy gets back on his Nokia for a wee game of Snake, and then texts this Alice after all.
Yes.
So Carla's about to go into number 6 or knock on the door or whatever when Tracy comes along to act as the audience for us. Tracy thought more of Carla, but here she is crawling to get back with an idiot copper who didn't know that her ex-wife wasn't dead or that Carla had been kidnapped. Tracy doesn't have her down as being such a fucking doormat.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Carla.
Tracy.
And she walks away from her house. But she was spotted by Betsy, who explains what she saw to Swain and reckons that this might be progress. Swain sips a thoughtful swig of wine and agrees. She's drinking too much.
Yes. You know what that's the show, though, isn't it? When a character is sad and depressed and their life isn't going their way, they drink too much.
At least she's doing it in the house.
Well, for now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because now we've got to talk about Wednesday.
But of course, also, drinking alone in a house isn't exactly the healthiest thing to do either.
No.
It's less embarrassing, but probably more unhealthy.
At least she's not hiding it from herself.
Or her daughter.
At least she's not hiding bottles of booze in the toilet cistern for herself to drink at home herself.
Yes.
It's not quite that far.
Not yet.
On Wednesday, Carla's at the Rape Hotel booking a table for a business lunch when Ryan gives her a handwritten letter from Swain. Carla saying, "What's this, Bridgerton?"
Right?
Swain's
It's
requesting...
like, no, it's not, because I haven't seen anybody's ass yet.
Swain's requesting a summit at the bistro for lunch. Double booking alert. Carla's business lunch is with two bald men who are, by all accounts, characters.
Yes, it's Statler and Waldorf from the Muppets.
So a lot of people are saying. And then they post the picture of the two of them with the Muppets. And there's no similarity.
I think it's the...
They're the Chuckle Brothers. They're the bald Chuckle Brothers alive. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Shouldn't say that now that one of them's dead.
Yeah, well, I think when people see old men and they're kind of cranky and pretentious, they think Statler and Waldorf.
Yeah, I thought these two were funny.
They were funny.
They have one stipulation though, Missy.
No phones at the table.
No phones at lunch. So Carla reluctantly puts hers away so she can presumably miss messages from Swain.
What business do these two old dudes run that would have any sort of connection to panties?
They run a knicker company.
Do they?
Or maybe a knicker sniffing company. You dirty old bastards.
Why would she? No, it can't possibly be another knicker factory, because why would she be having lunch with a
No,
competition?
they're a retailer.
These dirty old men are selling panties and bralettes.
Thongs.
Yeah, and teddies
Thongs, thong.
and corsets.
Basques.
They model it for one another.
Interesting. Keep going. No. So, meanwhile, Swain is in the bistro bemoaning how bottles are getting smaller. Yeah, that'll be it, says Toya. Finally getting revenge on Swain for the whole, well, let me just go, I'm checking, see if I can find the key, shall I? Thug life. And yes, I know it wasn't Leanne, but still, Toya was the one that was in jail. So give me a fucking break.
Nobody said anything to you.
Swain gets wired into a new bottle, fearing that she's been stood up. At the hotel,
Yeah, being stood up from the thing that she never got confirmation for in the first place.
Right.
She never got a yes, I will meet you there from Carla. So she can't be stood up by Carla,
All
who
she
never
got
said yes.
was confirmation from Ryan that he had delivered the letter.
Right.
And she had read it.
Yeah. Text her yourself, you coward.
But you can't, thanks to these old cunts.
No, but if she had
I was
texted...
going to say these old cunts. And they're lovely, lovely men.
They're not.
They are.
No.
They're fine.
They're cranky. They're Luddites. I don't think that's necessarily true, and also that's not the proper definition of Luddites. But anyway, what was I even going to say? If she had texted Carla at the same time she was writing this letter, it would have been well before Carla's lunch. Mm-hmm. But that's not
But
going
would
to
the
be
text
funny.
take away from the letter?
No, if she texted her, there would be no letter.
Ah, but she wants to do it in a letter. I think Roy approves of the letter.
Why?
Because it's romantic.
Is it?
A handwritten letter?
Is it? Do you remember when you lived in a different country and in order to not pay like text fees or whatever, you would like write me a letter and then take a picture of it and send it to me?
On a post-it note.
Yeah.
And then discovered
It
later
was
that
even
month
more expensive.
that it was more expensive than I could possibly imagine.
Yes.
And I'd sent hundreds of them.
Yes. Yes, you had.
Yeah. I'm still paying that off.
See, that's romantic.
Yeah. Yeah. You know. So at the hotel, Ryan nips Carla's head about abandoning Swain, but Carla says, look, if I'm that important to her, she'll wait. Knickers can't let you down, she says. I beg to differ. Swain spoke to Sarah or something and turns up drunk at the hotel and makes a scene, claiming that it took guts for me to reach out to you, Carla. The old codgers offer to call the police. I am the police, you baldy twats, says Swain. Says Swain through drunken hiccups. Drunken hiccups are never a good idea.
No, they're not, because that's just like, that's a cartoon, isn't it?
It's a cartoon or it's pantomime.
It's Tex Avery cartoons.
The codgers are quite impressed that they know lesbians.
Doesn't one of them, because it's like, who is this? Oh, it's this is my ex-girlfriend. And one of them
goes,
say,
ooh.
no, one of them says, oh, like my niece is a lesbian or something, which was funny.
She's sporty too.
Yes.
Which is a bit stereotypical. But it's funny because it's from old men.
Right, yes.
You're just trying to buy some knickers that they can then later wear for each other.
We forgive old men so much. Possibly too much.
It's good to be me.
You're not old yet. You're middle-aged.
Only if I plan to live to 104.
Which you do. Which I do.
Ugh, I
plan
can't
for
imagine anything worse.
I plan for you to live until 104.
Anyway, Swain says that she's never loved anyone like she loves Carla, and Carla is her soulmate. And then she vomits.
Yeah, that was funny.
It looks like Carla is singularly unimpressed by all this, but the next we see, the two of them are home. Swain is lying out with her head in Carla's lap, and she says that she loves her. And after a pause that's long enough for Swain to fall asleep, Carla says that she loves her too.
Yeah. Is this the first on-screen vomit since Brian? Or have we had on-screen vomits since, in between?
No, I think we must have had vomit.
I don't remember
We
any
didn't
of...
see it. We saw Brian's.
Yes.
It was the lowest, I think, that Coronation Street has ever got.
I think we see a little bit of Lisa's. There's
I think your mind is maybe filling that in.
a little bit of like brown liquid.
Oh,
But not that brown.
Please talk more about vomit to people who may be eating. Were there chunks in this?
No. I said liquid, didn't I? Because it was liquid. Because it's like vomited up beer.
It was white wine. She's drinking white wine.
Well, maybe she got some beer in there as well.
Who
knows?
She's hidden a six-pack somewhere for herself. On Thursday, Carla goes to the factory, lets the Knicker people in, and then fucks off, leaving Sarah in charge and seemingly Izzy abandoned in her wheelchair
Right,
with no
yes.
obvious way to get in.
Yes, thank you, because I was like, why is Izzy waiting there with everybody? She's not getting up those stairs.
But she seems happy. She's having banter with them all. She seems happy sitting there.
So she's like happy sitting there, and then she's gonna like go to the other end of the building where the ramp is. Why is there no ramp right there by the stairs?
Yeah, we assume the ramp is round the corner.
Right.
But
But
then she shouldn't be having to
wheel
be around
around
the corner on her own.
Right.
Waiting for somebody to let her in.
Right. Why is there not
Put
a
a
ramp
ramp at
there?
the front.
There should be a ramp there.
I thought we'd seen her leave the front before. I always imagined that the ramp was at the side, like the medical centre,
Well, it couldn't be on one side because that would block the
the loading bay.
the car. No, it would block Kev's because the car repair place is right there next to it because Tyrone's like shouting at him from Kev's. It's a weird door. It's not the door that I think that they typically use.
The one that they were going to?
Yeah.
That's the main entrance.
How on earth for this factory that was rebuilt within
Well,
the
I
past...
had its roof replaced. Don't think Gary put down no disabled access.
Still, it's 2026. There should be a ramp at the main
Yeah,
entrance.
I wouldn't pass code. Let's assume that Izzy managed to get in and get some work done. Carla goes back home to find Swain nursing a sore head. And Carla's a bit of an asshole here as she makes as much noise as she possibly can.
I loved it,
Swain can't remember what she said last night, so Carla fills her in.
but I like that.
Swain had declared her love for Carla and said that they were soulmates and that she would die for her, and then fell asleep before she could hear Carla's answer. Which would be? Asks Swain, and she seems pretty upset about getting into that nick and potentially fucking up Carla's business meeting. But Carla says that she loves Swain too, and Swain is so happy she vomits again. After brushing her teeth and flossing, they can smooch properly. Swain wants to know if this is them back together, which is worth checking, and Carla says it feels right, but she needs to take her time, and she asks for patience and for things to be taken slowly. Now, come on up the stairs and fuck me ragged, she says. They go off to the pub afterwards,
Yikes.
where the Knicker people are congregating, and they're all curious when they see Swain and Carla together. Swain says they're taking it slow, but then Carla announces loudly that they're back together, and this gets the Knicker people a whooping and a hollering,
Huzzah from everyone.
and champagne all round. And I don't know if it's because she's still hungover, but I thought Swain looks a bit like maybe this is going too fast for her here.
Yeah, she did look uncomfortable, but she's also uncomfortable with public displays of affection. So she did look uncomfortable.
I thought, if Swain is going to have a problem with this, I'm going to have such a problem with this storyline because I'm fucking sick of this back and forth.
Right. I mean, I have seen at least one article saying, in order for these two to get back together properly, they need to address the abuse from Becky, the coercive control from Becky, which they haven't really done.
No, and I don't think they
And it
have
feels
set it up well enough to do that now.
no. So it does feel a little quick. And also, I mean, is that what turns Carla on, watching Lisa vomit and get drunk?
When Carla walked away from that with a very stoic expression on her face,
Yeah.
and one maybe of embarrassment,
Yeah.
and one that, I'm working here, I wonder what she would think if I turned up at the police station.
Drunk and shouting, yeah.
So I was surprised to see
I
the
was
two
really
of them
shocked.
back in the house and on the sofa.
I'm kind of like Tracy here. I'm like, where's the real Carla? What happened to the real Carla? Because it does ring a little false. Like they're like, oh, all right, we've spent a week of them not being together, so let's just mash them back together.
Yeah. With no thought of how that's going to fit.
Right.
Like these Lego pieces that have been broken apart and damaged.
Right.
That probably no longer fit together are being forced to fit
Right.
together.
Yeah.
The Carla that we got at the start of the week was a Carla who seemed to have come to the conclusion that she very well might be my soulmate, And I very well might be in love with her for the rest of my life. But this can't work.
Right, yeah.
And
that felt true.
yeah, and it felt like a brave Carla decision to make, that I would rather be unhappy than be in this relationship that is going to make everyone unhappy. So for that to sort of turn around with a drunken declaration of love and vomit, I mean, God, even Peter was better than that.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was an alcoholic.
Right. And then...
I mean, she and Peter broke up for less.
Well, let's just quickly talk about Friday and then come back to this conversation. Sure. In Nina's rolls, Tim's on the sausage sandwiches, hoping that Sally doesn't find out because she has them on them usually. Meanwhile, Carla and Swain are looking forward to having a deplorable day together, which is a signal for Betsy to fuck off into town for noise-cancelling headphones.
That's what we should have gotten the kids for Christmas.
We hear Sally and Tim arguing next door, and Swain is up to the wall with a glass at her ear in a flash. Sally comes in later with some mail for them and gives them a sob story about how she's feeling underappreciated from Tim. And she goes on, happy to chat with her lesbian friends with her fancy furnishings and cushions.
And it's also their fault because they asked her if she's okay.
Yeah. And while Swain seems
should never
happy to
do.
indulge this, Carla realises that this is eating into her whole getting time. So she phones Tim and orders him to come round pronto
With
and bring
flowers.
By the time he gets there, Sally's pished on wine, and it seems that Tim's crime was to call Sally a Karen. He's apologetic and leads her home just as Betsy comes back with those headphones, and that's as far as we get with that. Mm-hmm. So it felt as well, especially in Friday where really nothing much happens, and especially on Thursday, is that not only are we going to throw them together, we're going to play it for comedy.
Yeah.
And I'm all for comedy.
Yep.
I'm all for having light-hearted, good humour stories to give us a little bit of light against the dark.
Especially at the expense of Sally.
All that fun stuff. Yeah, because we were worried during last week's spoiler alert that...
Right, yeah.
What the fuck is up with Tim and Sally?
Right.
And it turns out nothing is up with Tim and Sally.
Right,
It's
yeah.
just a sort of plot device. But what I would rather have instead of the comedy is... Well, let's speak about what happened, and let's speak about what was going on, and let's talk about the actual mechanics of whatever Becky was up to with Costello. And
Because are we ever going to get any resolution with that? I don't think we are.
No, and let's talk about the fact that you slept with her, and let's talk about what happened that made you feel like that was a reasonable course of action. What was going through your head when that happened, and don't just say it was a mistake. Tell me what you were thinking.
Right. Why was it so easy to deceive you that I had gone off on this vacation by myself and was having a lovely time without you?
Why were you so accepting of one opinion and so dismissive of another?
Right. Especially since, as they've pointed out, it wasn't just Carla, it was also Kit.
Yeah.
They were both saying to her, you need to look out for this person. And instead of not, and it's not just that she ignored their advice, but it was like she was actively fighting against their advice by telling Becky every single little thing about the investigation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
this is
and
not
all the
satisfying at all.
And all the things that happened privately between Swain and Becky, we don't talk about. We don't talk about the Christmas tree.
Right.
We don't talk about the Christmas apron and all the family things that you were doing that I guess is going to be done for Betsy's sake when Betsy wasn't there.
Right, exactly.
As much as I like the comedy, I would like them to address this.
Yeah, me too.
Because the longer it goes on, the less likely it is that it's going to happen. And so now we're just left to accept that Carla is just taking Swain back, no questions asked.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot to ask for us to believe.
Right, exactly. And that something like a drunken partner coming in and shouting at you while you're in a business meeting is the sort of thing that turns Carla on or makes her want to take you back. It just doesn't ring true.
I love Vicky Myers.
I do too. We were one of her first advocates. There are only two people who who you've written theme songs for. It's Swain and Tim's mum. And that's it.
I guess technically I did one for Ryan.
That was also Tim's mum's music, though, wasn't
No,
it?
no, that was
Oh,
different
no,
music.
Ryan's house was different. You're right. Oh, Ryan's house.
But let's just say that the drunken acting wasn't her best work.
Which may not be her fault.
And the hiccuping especially. But her hungover acting
It's perfect.
was incredibly good.
Spot on.
It made me remember being hungover, which is horrible.
Yeah.
When you haven't had a hangover for 5 years, thinking about how bad hangovers were,
Yeah.
it isn't easy to do because it was. But seeing the state that Swain was in that morning, and the noises that Carla just kept on making as she clattered about that
Right.
kitchen,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I remember now. So we'll give with one hand and take away with the other, perhaps. But I think that the hungover acting was incredibly good.
Yes. Agreed.
All right, let's move on then to our next storyline, Royfishing. On Monday, Nina is gleefully ripping the piss out of Roy, who has heard from Alice, and she sent him her phone number. Nina suggests a cheeky text now that they're taking their relationship to the next level, and Roy is fucking furious about this, doesn't find it remotely funny, and tells Nina to go fuck herself. Brian, who has been eavesdropping at a nearby table, reminds Nina that it's the anniversary of Haley's death tomorrow.
Oh.
Later, Nina apologises and says that she only wants Roy to be happy. And Roy rather huffily says, if you want me to be happy, respect my boundaries and remember the anniversary of my wife's death. Yeah, well, latty fucking da.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, all is forgiven and forgotten, and Roy is chatting with Nina about Alice. Kit comes in and advises he caused canny there because there's a lot of weirdos, like Roy, and catfishing is a big problem.
It is.
Nina has to explain what catfishing is, which just seems to confuse Roy even more. Nina reckons that Alice is probably all square, as catfishers don't tend to write 8-page letters.
About bats.
But it turns out that they do, because when we see who's sending Roy texts as Alice, it's a bearded man with at least one ear sitting in a dark room watching telly. And that's as far as we get with that this week. Now, we had said, again in the spoiler alert, friends of the podcast exclusive, $2 a month, the way that they were mentioning catfishing suggested that there's no way in the world this is going to be about catfishing because they're giving us too many hints that it is.
Right.
But it is after all.
Well, we don't know that. We
That is not Alice.
We know that this man is probably not a woman named Alice. But that doesn't necessarily make it catfishing.
Isn't that exactly what catfishing is?
No, because catfishers tend to convince the men that they're catfishing to buy them things and spend money on them.
Oh, the MTV catfishing didn't have that. The MTV catfishing was just someone pretending to be someone that they're not. That there wasn't really any exchange of goods or services. It was just, I'm really not a woman, or I'm really not a man, or I'm really not 20.
Yeah, I think I think the more general understanding. I didn't even know MTV had a show about catfishing.
Yeah, they did. I think it was called catfishing.
But the ones that you hear about, the ones that get and Netflix documentaries, these men keep sending these women money and these women keep insisting that they're going to use the money to take care of their mother so that they can move and be with these men, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think there's
Because I mean, there's a whole fishing aspect of this. Is that because fishing on the internet is sending out lines and stuff. That's the Nigerian prince sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So anything with fishing, it implies that you're being lured in for their benefit.
Yeah, I think where we're disagreeing on the nuances that for some people the benefit is just having someone believe them, and there may be a promise of a relationship that is obviously never going to amount to anything.
Right.
But keeping someone going is as part of the allure of it. It was MTV Catfish is what it was called.
Ah. Well, MTV is dead now, so it doesn't matter.
Yes, no longer exists.
I must have gone to the bathroom during that because I don't remember that at all. Was it today or yesterday?
It's Wednesday. The bearded man?
Yeah, it was Wednesday.
Yeah, it was Wednesday.
I must have zoned out or something. I didn't remember that part of...
Yeah, he was texting her. Nina had... they were talking about Latvian currency.
See, I kind of remember that.
It was right after the Latvian currency. It was the end of that scene.
Huh. Well, that makes spoiler alert make a lot more sense. Well, actually, no, it makes it much more confusing. But
Excellent.
Anyway.
Yeah, so it looks like Roy has been deceived in some way or another then by someone with a beard and an ear. It looked a little bit like Billy's brother to me. But why would Billy's brother be getting involved in this? And did he die?
See,
Billy's junkie brother that got him in the smack.
I thought when I squinted it was Phil with 2 L's. I got my
I
hopes
thought you
up.
didn't see it.
I haven't.
Oh.
But I have seen pictures of this man on the internet.
Oh, so you know who it is?
Maybe.
This is the most confusing conversation I think I've ever had with you. So you've seen photographs of a man that you didn't see on the TV.
Correct.
Who's the deceiver?
Yes. Maybe.
What do you mean, maybe?
I'll tell you later on spoiler alert.
Oh, okay. You just want me to shop and move on.
Yes.
Okay. Our next storyline is sucks to be a well. I don't want.
You're not going to shut up, are you?
I just want to say I don't want a Roy getting deceived storyline. I'd much rather that this Alice was a lovely old woman that Roy would have a delightful relationship with. But I think that goes without saying.
Well, I would rather Roy have a delightful relationship with Evelyn,
Right.
who genuinely loves him, and he loves her.
Yes.
And they fit well together.
Our next storyline is sucks to be a Webster. On Monday, Ronnie is chatting to Carl about his fears for Debbie ahead of the sentencing and ruining how she'll be losing the time that she has left. And he tells her about Summer scalping her jaw the other day, and Carl is enraged about this and maybe realising that this is all his fucking fault.
Yep.
On Tuesday, Sally and Tyrone are in Nina's roles and she explains how worried she is about Kev and his obsession with Carl, so Ty promises to have a word. Kev's in a foul mood right enough, and at home he smashes a photo of Debbie and Carl. Tyrone comes in and sees all this mess, and Kev is furious still as he explains that Carl was definitely driving the car that Debbie is taking the blame for, and was also driving the car that hit Tyrone, and they both know it. Tyrone agrees and reckons this wrong needs righting. So on Wednesday, Tyrone essentially performs a violent home invasion as he assaults Carl in his house as he comes out of the shower, and he demands the truth. Carl grabs him
You can't handle the truth.
Carl grabs him by the ears and wrestles him to the ground, saying that Kev is fucking loopy and determined to turn the world against him. The two of them have a calmer conversation later where Carl admits to making mistakes and doing plenty of things wrong, but running over Tyrone wasn't him, and he suggests that the two of them work together to make sure Kev is all right. That should be their number one priority, and Tyrone sucks a thoughtful tooth at this. He explains this to Fizz in the pub later, because Tyrone's a bear with a simple brain.
He is.
And he's surprised, but not as surprised.
He is Pooh Bear. Only he wears pants.
That we know of. Fizz is surprised, but not as surprised as Kev when he learns of Tyrone's treachery. First Abby, then Debbie, and now you shit. Then we see Kev at home, sitting on the floor with his back against his kitchen cabinets, looking at that broken photo from yesterday. On Friday, Jodie's working at Nina's Rolls now and is having problems with the cash register. Luckily, Carl is on hand to push the secret buttons that pops it open, and then he pushes Jodie's secret buttons
That pops it open.
and ends up having a cuppa with her in the corner of the cafe. And they chat about what brings them to the area and what keeps them there, and Carla's adamant that he's fucking off to Germany as soon as he has the cash. This tips Jodie off that Carla's a bit of a love him and leave him kind of guy, and he's probably got a few angry broken hearts in the area. He denies it. And at this, Abby comes in and practically spits in his face and then leaves.
Right, yes. She does an angry Grandpa Simpson.
Yes. Jodie smirks, because she was right.
Yep.
Then later in the pub, Jodie's there when Carl comes in, and just the sight of him is enough to send Summer packing.
Right.
Suddenly not thirsty anymore. And she goes back to Todd's, where she listens to a voicemail from Billy over and over and over again, and ends up howling in tears. I really like how they're doing this with Summer.
Me too. I mean, there are aspects of it that I like more than others.
Yeah.
But I like that, I mean, and it feels really realistic because
It really does.
this is the third dad death that she's had in her life. And she's only in her early 20s. So, yeah, you can imagine that that would be an unbearable burden to carry at her age.
Yeah, I caught myself thinking, I don't remember her being this upset when her actual dad died, but this is the third one,
Right,
and they add up.
right.
So,
And wait, how did her original dad die?
cancer, I think.
Right. So the deaths have become more horrible as they go along as well. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like M&D,
I think that's more horrible
It's
than
more
exploding
horrible.
in a minibus.
well, death by fire is supposedly like one of the worst deaths. It's up there with drowning. I think drowning is slightly less worse than dying by fire
I don't think he
because you're asphyxiated, but also you're being burned to death.
I don't think he died by getting burned to death. I think he died by the bus exploded and he was in it.
Right, but it exploded in fire. So
The
was
time that he was on fire was
burning
and alive
involved.
was pretty low, I think.
But he was probably, he seemed to be getting really asphyxiated as well. Because, like, the last little bits of the Lord's Prayer he was saying, he was kind of gasping for breath while doing it.
Yeah, getting it wrong.
He didn't get it wrong.
Oh, he didn't?
No.
No. That's a shame. and she seems to be the only one that's upset about this. Well, Todd's upset about it. And Theo is...
Theo's guilty.
And starting to feel, I think, the weight of the guilt
Yes.
a little bit.
Yeah.
But Summer is really, really affected by it.
Right. As she should be.
And isn't getting over it.
Yeah.
And as much as that's horrible, it's good to see that acknowledged.
Right.
And I think Harriet Bibby is doing a
She's doing a very good
doing
job.
a very good job.
She's doing a very
of
good
portraying
job.
it. So anyway, she cries her wee heart out at this ridiculous voicemail that she's listening to. It's Winifield's Richard Chamberlain, and he shoved Mike. Meanwhile, Jodie is not put off by all this at all and enjoys her drink with Carl. Later, Carl's heading home when he runs into Abby, who remarks that he's already got his claws into a new victim and she plans to tell her everything about him. He warns Abby to keep her fucking mouth shut. I'm not scared of you, she says. No, but you should be, he says. And this seems to affect Abby more than you'd imagine.
Yeah.
And that's as far as we get with that this week. I really want the truth to come out about this, but I'm beginning to struggle to see how. How is this going to come out?
Which part?
The Debbie stuff. The Carol being not responsible for Billy's death.
Right.
Although the show is going to make it about that, I'm sure.
Right. Yes.
But even just that Carol was the one that's driving.
Right.
And was the one that knocked over Tyrone. He's had ample opportunity to admit it
Yeah.
this week.
And he didn't.
And he hasn't.
No.
And not only
And he
that,
also doesn't feel like he has any guilt.
I don't think he thinks that he did it anymore. I think he's convinced himself that he's completely innocent.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think that's true, but I think he's...
The way that he so easily lies about it, though.
We've seen him easily lie about other things that he knew were untruths before. This is just his personality. It's that narcissistic personality of his. It's that whole first-person syndrome sort of thing where... But deep down, he knows. Of course he knows. I think that's what... And that is kind of the underlying thing for, like, how indignant he got when Summer slapped Debbie, you know? Either Debbie is going to find out indisputable proof that Carl stole money.
But she knows he's done that as well, and she's just ignoring it.
Yeah.
Because she knows that she wasn't driving. She knows that he was driving.
Right. And she does know about the money because
Because Carl said that he just hasn't got the budget sorted out yet.
Right. And she also accepted Abby's apology and had her, and agreed to her paying her back only if she goes back to work for Kev.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Is it the finding out that Debbie is his mother that finally gets him to not be a narcissist and turn himself in? That would be unlikely and unbelievable.
I think it's more likely to make him worse. Because now he doesn't know who he is.
And yeah. And it'll traumatize him all over again.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a terrible person already.
I think he's a good character. I think the show needs characters like this. And I think he's good at it. Our next storyline is, our last storyline this week is Meet the Driscolls. On Monday, Maggie's up early.
Oh, fuck off, Maggie.
Will's dragging his arse, going back to school, which infuriates Ben after Daniel pulled the strings to cancel his suspension. At the school, Daniel is very handsy with Megan.
Yeah.
Two teachers all lovey-dovey like that?
No.
You would never get away with that.
Creepy.
She's feeling a bit rough, so he actually hugs her. And I think he kisses her as well at the school.
Ugh.
Will interrupts, looking to speak to her about training. He thinks Megan is binning him off for Daniel. She takes a turn, but she sends him off to class. Back at the pub, Will is curious why Megan cancelled the last training session. Leanne tells him to mind his own fucking business. Megan's allowed some privacy. When Will sees Megan next, she's packed a bag and says that she's going away for a while. Will thinks that she's dying, like a cat, which is like, what, are you 8? Megan tells him that she's not dying, she's actually up the duff with his baby, and Will's hair pops off. In the gunnel, Megan explains how close she was to getting a termination because it's proof of them being a thing, but she kept it because this might be her only chance. And I was like, she's definitely had that because she's feeling sick and sore and stuff afterwards, which
right.
I think checks out. And we saw her go away into the room.
Right.
And that's normally, well, this is happening then.
But even then she could say no and
sure.
Yeah.
But narratively, this is usually...
Right.
We draw a veil over it at that point.
Right, yes.
But...
Apparently she changed her mind at the last minute.
Will whitters on about getting married on a beach and buying a house in the sea and other things that involve water. She says that's all fucking stupid and won't happen, and in a few months people are going to find out. He tells her to trust him. Meanwhile, Leanne is an early visitor to the Rovers and has a proposal for Maggie. She offers to buy out her share of the pub.
What? Says Eva. This is shocking news, says Eva.
Eva Cakes coos at this a bit, which sets Maggie's radar off, reckoning that Eva and Leanne are in cahoots to get rid of her. Ben suggests to her that this would free up a lot of her time for herself and she'd still be happy to stay there. Eva chokes on her saliva a wee bit, and Ben says, not helping. Privately, Eva tells Leanne that they need to get Maggie to sign the deeds pronto. On Tuesday, it's a stressful backroom at the Rovers between Maggie and Eva Cakes, who aren't even bothering to conceal their contempt for each other. Will comes in, gets a message from Megan, and then immediately leaves without saying anything. Maggie is very unhappy about Leanne and Eva trying to buy her out. Ben leaves the room, rubbing his chest. Uh-oh. Later in the pub, Lauren is complaining about being hungry, so Ollie offers to make her a fancy sandwich.
It's a steak sandwich.
A sandwich that has jus in it, probably, and she's appreciative.
Yeah, chimichurri.
Will thinks that he should just ask her out, as it's clear that he fancies her because he spoke to her that one time about the sandwich. The sandwich doesn't do Lauren's mood much because she's an absolute whorebag to Mary and Tracy later about ketchup, and we learn that maybe she fancies Ollie back, but she doesn't admit it. To make this storyline and the pub busier, in comes Megan, who speaks to Leanne about being her roommate, and it's all signed and sealed without anyone mentioning price or conditions or anything like that. Megan's looking a bit peely-wally, as my gran used to say, and she nips off for a shite. And when she comes out, Will asks her if she's okay, but Megan is worried that there's something wrong with the baby.
She's spotting.
Yeah. Leanne makes an offer of 160 grand to Maggie, who flatly turns her down. And as Leanne is leaving, Maggie hits a stool with her arse and goes down in installments like a chimney being
right,
being
like
blown up.
she holds on to that post, like the chair rail and the post attaching it to the foot rail, all the way down.
Oh,
as
Jesus
she falls
wept.
very, very slowly onto the ground.
Oh, fuck off, Maggie.
Seriously. It's like, who does she think she's fooling here?
It's just so annoying.
Yeah.
She says that she was nearly killed, that Leanne's trying to get rid of her so that she can get her hands on this half of the pub. And
Which Leanne's offer is very generous, I think.
super generous. But it also suggests that Speed Dial's worth 320 grand. And it also suggests that Alia's got the 160 to buy Leanne out.
And it also implies that Leanne has talked to Alia about this.
And this has all been done in half a week. Paperwork completed. Business needs move like the wind in Coronation Street. But
Ridiculous.
But when you start to put numbers against it, it takes a biscuit a little bit. So yeah, so she's claiming blue murder, that her ankle nearly broke and her neck nearly broke. Chance would be a fine thing. When Ben comes in, Maggie's complaining that she nearly broke her neck, but Ben has problems of his own as he's got heart palpitations and blurred vision. Eva calls him an ambulance.
Ben, you're an ambulance. I think that's our first Ben, you're an ambulance.
That's definitely our first Ben, you're an ambulance.
Congratulations, Ben. You're an ambulance.
Ambulance, after me. Will is reading pamphlets about pregnancy when Eva bounds in, armed with a classic farce confusion. She thinks that Will is there because she sent him a voice note about his dad, but he has no idea and is waiting on Megan, but has to go with Eva to see Ben. He disappears just as Megan comes round the corner, narrowly missing them. And then Niles appears, and he's speaking French.
Where do those pamphlets go to that he's been reading about pregnancy? Does he like tuck them in his pocket or something?
Yeah, put them in his inside jacket pocket.
Aha. Because he does not do his own laundry.
I hope that there's something coming up in spoiler alert about this, because this was a fraction of a second of a scene
Right.
that easily missed.
Yes.
And if it wasn't for the fact that I've watched every episode like 3 times,
Uh-huh.
I don't know that I would have noticed what happened to the pamphlet.
Maybe that's why I didn't see the bearded man.
Oh.
Because I don't watch it.
it.
Because I don't watch the show 3 times.
Yeah. While the doctor is trying to explain the situation to Ben, Maggie won't shut the fuck up
She seriously won't.
and seems determined to make Ben have a heart attack.
Oh, fuck off, Maggie.
Seriously, dude.
Whew. The long and short of it is, though, that Ben is getting sent home and told to avoid stress, and how he resists looking at the camera at this
I know.
moment.
And shrugging his shoulders. Womp womp.
Making the... How would you describe this?
It would I don't know.
Just throw your hands up, basically. My life.
Right. It would be like, John Krasinski in The Office breaking the fourth wall, like staring into the camera.
Mm-hmm. At home, Maggie blames Eva for all this. She got rid of wife 1, she got rid of the baby, and now she wants rid of Maggie and Ben so she and Leanne can run this pub alone. Ben demands that Eva and Maggie stop their sniping and insists that they have a quieter life without fights and drama. Back at their shadowy ginnel, Megan tells Will that the baby is fine and she got a scan. They're both happy about this, but Megan thinks that they need to stay away from each other until they can afford to leave.
Right.
And in the meantime, she'll be fucking Daniel 7 ways to Sunday.
Yep.
She shows him the scan and he is thrilled.
This whole pregnancy bit makes him seem even less mature than he was already.
Yeah.
And just like his reactions to it. Mm-hmm. Like it's just like a grand adventure having a baby.
Yeah.
And then they could just move to the sea.
Under the sea, under the sea. On Wednesday, the stress-free life is evading Ben. Maggie has made him eggs and soldiers, but Eva Cakes comes in with fruits and tells him that eggs are full of cholesterol.
Which is true.
Maggie is a fucking nightmare and goes on about Ben needing a decent breakfast. Ben wishes that he'd stayed in the hospital. Later, Maggie barks at Lauren to change a barrel, and Eva sticks up for Lauren, and in the ensuing argument, Ben screams at them to shut the fuck up, demanding that they learn to get along. And I feel like he's been a little bit unfair to Eva here. Because
a
this
wee
is
bit.
entirely his mother.
Yeah. Eva never starts it.
No. She seldom makes it better,
No.
but you're right, she doesn't start it.
Yeah.
Privately, Eva Cakes asks Maggie for a truce, saying that Ben's health comes first, as does family. Maggie pretends this is what she wanted all along. So over dinner, everything is dead civilised likes, with Maggie even complimenting Eva on the moistness of her breasts. Ben is impressed.
But not like that.
Or chicken breasts, sorry.
Yeah.
I missed the word there.
Yes.
On Thursday, Daniel and Megan are in...
It's like, have we suddenly got ourselves in an of mice and men situation here?
On Thursday, Daniel and Megan are in Nina's rolls while Ollie tries to steal Will's phone as he looks up maternity stuff. And it's interesting that Ollie steals the phone, but then doesn't look at it. So incurious is he.
Right. It's like the act of taking the phone away from him
Yeah.
is annoying your little brother enough.
Right. Daniel wants to know what Megan wants. Daniel wants to know when Megan wants to go to that spa thing that he got her at Christmas, but she's super dismissive about it. Will gets a word with Megan at school and tells her that it's about high fucking time that she dumped Daniel, who was a total fanny. Megan is reluctant, but agrees to tell Daniel that she needs space. Daniel interrupts this, saying that he's rescued Megan and that Will is one for the watch and he's not wrong, and she shouldn't be alone with him. Megan meets
Which
Daniel.
is also true.
Right. Yeah, because this was all at school.
Right.
Yeah, I said that, yeah. Megan meets Daniel at the bistro, saying that they need to talk. Daniel senses that this is serious, and apparently he's already asked her to move in with him because he's falling with her.
Falling for her.
Falling for her.
Not falling with her.
For her.
Because that would be awkward.
Me speak English good. When she doesn't reply and says it's complicated, he gets stuck into Will again, saying that they should probably tell Crawshaw about how fucking creepy he is.
Yeah, like report him.
Megan snaps, no, tells Daniel to butt out, but then she says that she's shyer than he is about affairs of the heart, but then tells him that she feels the same way about him. During this, the other Driscolls are worried about Will's moods, but put it down to his concern for his dad. But then when they ask him about it, it's very obvious that Will has already forgotten what happened at the hospital yesterday.
Right, yeah.
On Friday, it's Will's big meet today, so they haven't forgotten about that at all, Helen.
No.
Ollie puts...
Is it weird that it's in January?
In the UK, probably not.
It's still cold in the UK right now, right?
Slightly colder.
Slightly colder than -9 degrees?
No, slightly colder than it is normally, but not... Let's see what the temperature is in Stirling right now, shall we?
Maybe check the temperature in Manchester.
Well, I don't have Manchester on my phone, but I have Stirling. It's 41 degrees in Stirling at the moment.
Fahrenheit?
Yeah. Yeah. For Celsius, that's like 100 and something. It's like
Right.
you're frying eggs on the pavement then.
Right, so that would be Phoenix. 41 is still like uncomfortable to be outside, kinda. Like, especially in like running gear. Because you have to run in like shorts, right? That don't
Keeps you warm.
inhibit your
Anyway,
running.
I don't
know. We never see
don't-
them.
I
We
don't-
never see him in his like actual running gear. He's always in a tracksuit. Like he's a Jimmy.
I don't make up the meats. That's Arby's. Ollie puts 20 quid
No,
on
they
Bolt
just
on it.
has the meats.
At school, and in a very claustrophobic scene in the school corridor, Megan has to insist to Jelly Will that she only has eyes for him, and she gives his bum a wee squeeze when no one's looking.
Ah, so gross.
I think it was his hand. She won't be at the meet, so something can be a shock to her later on. As she's walking away, though, she does a 2-second smile fade, and even Will doesn't look all that convinced. At the meet, we see Will and Sam chatting, which establishes that they know each other, and
Right.
that this will become important
And
later.
isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Because we never see Sam meet Will, but they talk to one another as if they're like old friends.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are tangentially related.
Sam is there in a first aid capacity. They're tangentially related, are they?
Leanne is like a mother to Sam. Leanne is sister to Eva. Eva is stepmother to Will.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate that the tangent was a tangent of a tangent.
Yeah.
Sam's there in the
Because,
first aid.
Sam's actual mother is dead.
Yeah, which I still haven't forgiven the show for.
Correct.
Sam is there in a first aid capacity, and then Will runs into Lee. He's a kid from Will's old school who's there for the meet too, or something, and it seems that he's the guy to beat because his hair is even worse than Will's. He and Will have some awkward banter with each other, and Lee mentions that he heard that Megan was working at the school now. Will is nonchalant about it. He and Lee get back to the pub later with Lee winning as predicted, and then Megan, post-shite, comes out the ladies and nearly shits herself again when she sees Lee.
Right, and it was weird because, like, when Will initially bumps into Lee, for a second there, it seems like he doesn't remember Lee. Mm-hmm. But then when they go back to the pub, Maggie's like, "Oh, Lee, how you been? We haven't seen you in a while." And
Yeah.
it seems very familiar with him.
Because the pretending that he didn't know who it was for the joke of, well, you only know me by looking at me
My back. Yeah.
as you're shagging me. Oh, no, not at all.
Why is he all of a sudden Ringo?
The best thing about being in the Beatles was all the free sweeties.
Yeah, how come you're doing an impression of Ringo? Yeah, Keith.
While
Do you have any more you want
No.
to just get off your chest?
No, I'm throwing Mick Jagger and Ringo Starr out of our office. Get out of here.
Ah.
Yeah.
While Will nips off for a shite, Lee wants a word with Megan. She hisses at him to meet her in the Ginnell in 10 minutes. In the Ginnell, Lee declares himself over 16 now and keen to get his hole with Megan legitimately now. She says that it's never going to happen. She's in love with a teacher at the school, a teacher who has a jealous temper, and she wants him to stop getting in touch. What they had was special, but it's over, she says. Now fuck off. Lee is gutted. Later, Will finds Lee waiting for his bus, and Lee reveals that he came for the race, but he also came to see Megan, because they had a fling last year, and he thought it was love, but now he knows that she was just using him. Will doesn't believe it. Lee doesn't give a fuck one way or the other if he believes it or not, but points out that he has no reason to lie about the incredible sexual relationship that he had with Megan.
His teacher.
Will somewhat remarkably points out that Megan would get the jail for something like that, and she's not that kind of girl. Whatever, says Lee.
Is it icky that he referred to her as not that kind of girl as opposed to not that kind of woman or
Lee-
not that kind of person?
Lee gets on his bus and Will wanders away. And then Harry Potter comes out of the kebab shop, having overheard some of this and looking very concerned.
Yes.
And that's how we end this week's episodes.
Expelliarmus. I don't even remember what that was. Is that the...
Expelliarmus, that's the disarming.
Right. Yes.
Accio pedophilia.
Boop.
So I wonder what Sam heard there. Because they were walking as they were talking.
Right.
And Sam was in the kebab shop. So I don't know that he heard all that much. I don't know that he heard that. All he would have heard if he'd heard all of it was Lee claiming to have had a
Sexual relationship with Megan, yeah. Which is enough.
Who Sam is going to know from the school.
Right.
He's not heard anything that implicates Will in this.
Not yet.
But it's something.
Right.
And that wasn't a look that's from Sam that said,
I'm just here getting my kebabs.
no.
And then I'm going to walk home. Doot, 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 doot. I didn't hear shit. I'm just happy here with my kebabs.
No, that wasn't what I was thinking. What I was thinking was that Sam wasn't thinking, wait a minute, I'm getting my hole with Megan.
No.
And she's getting her whole way with this
No,
guy.
obviously she wouldn't be shagging Sam. Sam doesn't know how to run.
So glad you said run there.
What else would I say?
Fuck.
Well, I don't think he knows how to do that either. But then again, I don't think Will and Lee know how to do that either.
She's pregnant.
Well, that doesn't mean that they know what they're doing. It's very easy to...
Well, they're doing something right.
It's very easy to get from point A to point B, but that doesn't mean you know what you're doing correctly. Do you honestly think Megan's ever had an orgasm with either one of those boys?
I don't know. I try not to think about it.
Which is the correct answer. Yeah. Ugh, I hate that they're dragging Sam into this. Because there are enough people that kind of know something.
It's amazing how Daniel doesn't suspect something that's right in his face.
Well, let's not forget, he had no idea Summer wanted to have sex with him.
That's true.
He's not very bright when it comes to women.
No. He's declaring his love and he's inviting them to move in with him and he's known them for like a month and
Right. And he's got a young son who, you know.
who's on make-believe mother 3 now, 4? Who
Something
knows?
like that. No, yeah, it would be. Yeah, because there's the
Daisy and Bethany.
there's Sinead, the actual mother, who he doesn't remember. There's Daisy. There's Bethany. So yes, Megan would be number 4.
Nikki.
Was Nikki really? Did Nikki really have any involvement with Bertie though?
Probably not. Just there for the cardigans.
Right. Yeah. She wasn't typically there when Bertie was awake.
No, but there's Will stuff that you think, how on earth is he agreeable to this? The fact that your girlfriend is actively having sex with someone else and she's pregnant and I'm not questioning for a minute that it's not mine.
Yeah.
And I'm going to allow this to continue without saying, do you know what, maybe this isn't the right thing for me.
Because he's a kid.
Yeah.
And he's being
Yeah, you're right.
he's being manipulated. And he's not in charge.
Yeah.
He acts like he's in charge, but deep down he knows he's not in charge.
Yeah, and you see a flash of that when Megan's walking away in the corridor and her face just hardens as she's leaving him. And,
Right.
And she's looking almost bored with him
Right, yeah.
because he's
Like
16
it's-
now.
Like it's time to move on. And groom somebody else.
Yeah. Too better not be Sam.
I don't feel like that's something that
No,
Sam would.
it's a coach thing, isn't
Right,
it?
yeah.
That's the...
I don't want to say I think Sam is too smart for that sort of thing. I think he's too mature for that sort of thing.
But maybe sort of naive when it comes to this sort of thing.
I don't know. He's got a very firm moral compass for a kid.
He does. And this is a horrible, icky storyline.
Yeah.
But I feel at least a little bit relieved that it feels like it's moving towards some kind of resolution.
Yeah, not fast enough though.
No, not fast enough. But there's...
And also spreading itself out more and more because we're like, oh, well, maybe it's Tim who's going to find out or Tim's going to be affected by this because of the grooming that he had, which I think the show has kind of forgotten about.
completely forgotten about. That hasn't been mentioned in the longest time.
Ages. And then you think, oh, it's going to be Lauren because, you know, Lauren was also groomed and by an authority figure in her life and abused and a baby was involved. So maybe it's Lauren because Lauren kind of has an idea, or she did. Because remember, she saw them kind of holding hands outside in the cafe.
Yeah, and since the Daniel thing kicked off, we haven't really heard her opinion on
No.
any of this.
Then again, we barely see her. And all of a sudden, now she's like grumpy Lauren again instead of fun, quippy Lauren.
Grumpy Lauren who just won't bring ketchup out. This is your fucking job.
Right. Yeah.
But Will's view on this has to have altered something or somewhat now because he can't ignore this and he can't say that this is a lie because what's happening to Lee is exactly what happened to him. So he can't say that Megan would never do this because she's currently doing it.
Well, I think what he is saying is she would never do it with you. I think very much the whole she'd never do that is not, you know, oh, she'd never have sex with a student. Just she would never have sex with a student who's not me, sort of thing.
I do feel though that this development is there to plant some seeds of doubt in him.
Yeah,
As
I agree.
we go forward. Oh, is the whole Leanne buying Maggie completely off the table now? That seems to be just a flash in the pan thing.
Why would you think that that's over?
Because Maggie turned it down and Leanne says, well, I tried, and then it's never been mentioned again. Oh, it's mentioned again next week. Your poker face is dreadful, Helen.
But even if I didn't know stuff that's going to happen next week, it didn't feel like it was resolved. It felt like it was...
What wasn't resolved about Maggie saying no and Leanne saying, well, I did try?
Is that she could make a different offer maybe, or something else is going to happen. There was no firm, well, there's nothing else we can do. I guess we're just going to ignore this now. It was kind of blindsided by the whole Ben might be having a heart attack thing.
It was kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And Maggie going down in installments.
It was ridiculous. It wasn't even remotely believable.
No, and I don't think it was meant to, but I also don't think that the truce is going to last for very long, because I don't think Maggie knows how.
No.
All right. That was the week that was Coronation Street. Helen, tell me, what was your moment of the week?
I don't really want to give it to Lisa and Carla getting back together,
No,
because I don't believe it.
No.
I don't feel like it's earned. And as much as I enjoy the whole Jodie storyline, there was no moment of the week sort of thing going on there.
Well, really, the moment of the week was the way that they were telling the story of her that she stole from Ellen.
Oh, a diabolical moment of the week.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had one of those in a while.
No, we haven't.
Yeah, let's go for it, man.
It really was.
It was well done.
I think they did the story justice with that.
Oh, or is it Summer listening to that voicemail over and over again? No? Okay.
No. the Jodie Ellie dual storyline
Yeah.
is our
Moment of the week.
Moment of the week?
your boring moment of the week.
Oh, God.
It was Daniel going out to check something in the shed.
Yeah.
You said it was in the shed, Dad.
Oh, yeah. That was hilarious.
Hilarious?
Yeah, hilariously bad.
Okay.
Like, what could possibly be in Ken's shed that Daniel needs?
Doran.
Where is that kid?
Next time we see him, we'll have a
Why are all
moustache.
the children gone from this community? Has the Pied Piper gone through? We didn't even talk about Susie's trombone.
Nah.
I was all excited. Susie plays the trombone just like Stelly. We should get Stelly over there to give her lessons.
Sure. Are we saying Daniel checking the shed?
It's
as
a boring moment
Moment of the week.
Yeah, that I wasn't even sure why that was a thing. Was it to hurry
It was just
Megan and Lee along, or
It was just like a moment in time sort of thing. It felt like just looking over the community and seeing this person that you're supposed to be in a relationship with just doing normal stuff. And do you really want to be with a guy who checks the shed for his dad?
I mean, maybe.
Who keeps their dad in a shed?
Yay!
Right, meh. This is a section where we ask our Twitter followers to rate the show. The voting this week is yay 55.3%, meh 27.7%, and zzz 17%. I realise now that I normally read them out in the opposite order. Layla says, I think the scenes of Sally and Lisa and Carla's flat are some of the funniest Corrie has done for a good while. Sally has some fantastic one-liners, and the facial expressions on Lisa and Carla were priceless.
Sally was funnier at the wedding when she was dancing.
Gave me a good chuckle. I thought it was all right. She was funny when she said that Tim was a majestic lover, just as Carla was taking a sip of her tea.
Yes.
I guess that was funny. But we don't let those views or those scores influence our decision, obviously, Helen. So tell me, what is your score out of 10 this week?
You know, it wasn't a bad week.
That was pretty good.
It was all right. Nothing really wowed me too much, except, of course, the whole Ellie Jodie thing. I think 6.
I'm giving that a 7. I think it was good.
It's all right.
I think it was decent, yeah.
You know, it's not knocking my socks off, but it's not terrible. I'm not angry at it.
I felt as I was watching it, it went in quickly. And I know that it's half the length that it used to be, but even taking that into consideration, it didn't feel like anything was dragging. I thought it was all pretty well paced. And we're starting to do things where we've got 3 storylines happening at the same time in the same scene again. And I like them a lot. You know, you have 3 things that are happening in the calf. And that's...
That's good.
As you're writing notes, that's very
Good
difficult
management
to
of time.
do. But yeah, it's good management of time in the cast. So yeah, I think it was a decent effort this week. All right, shall we wrap this one up
Yes,
then?
please.
This episode was brought to you with thanks to our friends of the podcast. Daisy, French Helen, Pickles, DT, Wendy, Noel, Canadian Helen, Christy, Shandy, English Victoria, Aurora Yvonne, Heather Westerfield, Russell Whiting, Brittany Porter, Laurie Anna, Tina, Leah, Tara J, Fiona B, Canadian Jennifer, Josephine O'Tingy, Anne Greenwood, Trish R, Sarah Purbrick, Ali Q, Hunker Munker, Darren, the artist formerly known as Steal My Fridge, Pamela, Marge JT, Tom Ambrose, Christopher Anstey, Terry in LA, Joe T, Corrie Dales, Matthew McKinney, Welsh Emma, Matthew S, Rachel B, Uranium Jennifer, Catherine Montero, Gary Heatley, Pam but not that one, Una Sharma and Amy. Thank you ever so much, folks. We very much appreciate your support.
Thank you.
If you've ever burnt Carl's cheesy toasty, write in to tell us about it. We're the talk of the street at gmail.com and we're at Corrie Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads and Blue Sky. Or you can reach us the old-fashioned way, the talk of the street, PO Box 12, Ian Rapids, Michigan 48827. Our spoiler show will be available shortly after this one, and in this month's classics, we're talking about episode 742. Get access to this exclusive content by becoming a friend of the podcast at ko-fi.com/the talk of the street, patreon.com/the talk of the street, or youtube.com/the talk of the street podcast. Check out voggle.co.uk for links to our merch store, YouTube channel and blog. And if you're so inclined, please leave a rating and a review on the iTunes or your podcast provider of choice. And be sure to check out our pop culture sister podcast, The List of Lists.
Get over it, Mike and the Mechanics.
Thanks for making it to the end of another episode, and we will be back next week with more
I'll talk of the street.
Talk of the Street, y'all.
Bye.
Cheerio.